Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and this is Michaela's Crafts, and today I am so cozy. I'm so excited. We just got our first snow and it is November 21st. So I would love to know, have you got your first snow where you are? Because I woke up this morning and I was so excited to see just a little bit of snow. I don't like too much, but actually we had snow in our forecast and then they took it out of our forecast. So I was actually pleasantly surprised just to see a tiny dusting of snow. So I've got my hoodie on, I've got some hand-knitted socks on, I've got some coffee, and I'm gonna do a pattern roundup video for you guys. Perfect. I wanted to do a cable pattern roundup because I think cables are so cozy for the winter, and doing cables was something I really wanted to attempt and work on throughout the winter. My two things were cables and color work. So you might see a color work roundup video sometime soon. We'll see. I'm not gonna keep rambling too much, but I do wanna say I have some free patterns and I have some paid patterns. I also have just like 2 crochet patterns. I'm gonna do those first and get them out of the way. The rest are going to be knit. And I also have some patterns for the chunky cable lovers and some patterns for the loose, light cable lovers. I prefer like lighter, looser cables. I think that they're just a little bit more delicate, and we're gonna go from accessories all the way to sweaters, so there's gonna be something in here for everyone. I feel like I always ask people what they are making in this video, but I want you to instead leave a comment for the pattern that you are most excited about or the one that you really want to make this winter. And so without further ado, we're gonna get right into the patterns. So for every category, I'm going to do the free patterns first and then the paid patterns. So if you only want to look at free patterns, it will be easier for you to skip to each section and find the free patterns in the section, but definitely the paid patterns are worth checking out too. So the first category I'm gonna start with is kind of miscellaneous. So the first pattern I have for you guys is a blanket pattern. It is the Terrific Textures Throw by Heather J. Anderson, and it is a super cute textured blanket pattern that I think you could also do knit if you knew how to do different textures and different cable designs, and you made just a bunch of squares the same size with different cable textures and then put them all together just like this one. Like I said though, this one is crochet. It is a free pattern and it is crocheted up in Aran weight yarn and a 5.5mm hook. I absolutely love the colors in the sample picture. I think it could be a good kind of like scrap yarn project, not really scraps, but like stash busting project. Like if you just have like one skeiners like throughout, you could probably just like make squares. You don't have to make them as big as the dimensions. You can make smaller squares and put them all together. Honestly, the possibilities are endless, and I just absolutely really want to make this, but I have been taking a break from blanket making, so we'll see what the new year brings. The next pattern is also a free pattern. It is the Silent Night Christmas Tree Skirt by Brenda K.B. Anderson. So this pattern is also a crochet pattern. Like I said, I just wanted to put the crochet patterns out there first for my crochet girlies and guys out there, and then I will go all the way into all the knitting patterns. So this one is also crocheted up in an Aran weight yarn and a 5.5mm hook. It is so festive. I love throwing in just a couple of cute Christmassy things. I do have some stockings coming up later in this list. So yeah, this is a free pattern. So yeah, I really, since last year, have been wanting to crochet or knit up a tree skirt, but it's just not in the cards for me this year, but maybe next year, definitely. If I get ahead of it, I would love to make a tree skirt. This one is so cute with the little Christmas tree details on them, and I think it would be so cute also in green or red. And then also, if you know how to color change in crochet, then you could totally do a white skirt with green trees. Tell me that wouldn't be so stinking cute. But yeah, the possibilities, of course, are endless with this pattern. So the next pattern I have for you is a paid pattern. It is Rowan's Blanket by Cynthia Roberts. It is just a cute textured little baby blanket, and I just thought it would be so cute to put in here because I know a couple people who are having babies and I'm looking for some baby blanket inspiration. And of course, I would love to knit up something that will work up quick and with an Aran weight yarn and a US 9 or 5.5 millimeter needles, this would honestly just knit up like a breeze. So I do have another free pattern, but I wanted to finish the blankets before I put this one in here, and it is the Snow Fern Koozie or Cozy. I literally never know how people are pronouncing this, so however you say it, that's what it is. And it's by Kalura Hudson. It is just a cable knit little thing that you can wrap around your coffee mug, and you know, it's hot chocolate season. So when you're just out and you have your hot chocolate and it's just a little too warm, this little koozie would just be so cute to put on it. It is so delicate, and I think it would knit up super, super fast. It would also make a cute gift idea. So it says it is also knit up in Aran weight yarn, and it has 2 needle sizes, so a US 6 and a US 5, or 4 millimeters and 3.75 millimeters. And I think there's just like this little ribbing detail, so probably size down for the ribbing and then do the cables in the larger needle size. It only takes 37 meters of yarn, you guys. Like, talk about scrap busting. Just like make a bunch of these, give them out, get rid of all your scraps. So now I'm gonna go right into the first stocking pattern, which is a free stocking pattern. What I love about free patterns for cable knits is like cabling is something that looks and seems a little bit intimidating to people. And so if you really don't want to spend all this money on a pattern in case like, you know, there's like this learning curve and you get like really tired of trying to learn how to do cabling, then the free patterns are where it's at. So you can try your hand at making something, and then if it works out for you, then buy, you know, the patterns that you want to buy. So this one is the Sugar Twist Knit Stocking by Yarnspirations Design Studio. I love the 3 colors in the photo, but I think that it would be so cute knit up in red and green, you know, just the normal Christmas colors. It is knit up in worsted weight yarn with a US 6 and a US 7 needle, or 4 and 4.5 millimeters. And they take about 420 yards, or I'm a meters girly, so 384 meters. So not a whole lot. You could probably use up one giant skein of yarn and it would work out perfectly. I really want to knit stockings. It's gonna have to be next year. I'm just not planning very well. This is still my first full year of knitting, and I am still kind of getting used to how long things take to make and what I want to make when. And so next year I'm gonna be way more prepared. So the next pattern I have is the Christmas Stocking 2020 by Pam Connolly. I think these stockings just look so cute in the very traditional stocking sense, and especially in the pictures they have the red, white, and green. So cute. It's knit up in a bulky yarn with US 6 or 4 millimeter needles, which I think would just, you know, be so fun to knit up. There's some small cable detailing, some large cable detailing. It has this really nice ribbing at the top. I absolutely love everything about this pattern. It is $6.50 for this pattern. I think these stockings are absolutely cute. Like I said, if you don't want to pay for a stocking pattern, use the free pattern, but if you don't mind spending a little bit of money for a pattern, this one, super, super cute. So the next one is in Norwegian, and it is Marienne's Julestrumpe by Vivian Aas. I don't know, don't speak Norwegian. This pattern, super cute. If you wanna try your hand at a little bit of color work and cabling at the same time, and there is an option to do like this kind of fold over ribbing at the top, or you can leave it off altogether. Honestly, if I had to pick a stocking pattern, it might be this one, just because I love the color work of it. And I think it would just keep you super engaged in the pattern to do color work and then cabling right after. I think you would not get bored with this, and it would work up super quick. It is also work up in an Aran weight yarn and a 7 millimeter needle size. So this pattern actually just came out in October, so it's really new, and honestly, you guys should go give it some love because it looks like so much fun to make. So the next thing we're gonna get into are some accessories, and I'm gonna start off with some scarves. So the first one is the Delicate Cable Scarf by Pearl Soho. I fell in love with this pattern. I actually kind of started to knit it up, but I didn't love the yarn I was using, and to be quite honest, I have not been wanting to knit a scarf. Like, just the thought of having to knit the same 2 rounds for inches and inches and inches doesn't sound like fun to me. So actually this one wasn't like that. It was cabled, and the cables were like moving toward each other and then away from each other, and it's like a really non-intimidating cable. Like if you're really afraid of like the all over cable work, this one has such a small cable portion to it, but there are cables every other row. It's actually like a really nice pattern to work up. It is knit up in worsted weight yarn and US 6 or 4mm needles. It is a free pattern. I think all of Purl Soho patterns are free. I haven't found any Purl Soho patterns that you have to pay for yet. And so I have a couple scarves by them. So the next one is the bas relief wrap. I don't know, my French mind is telling me it's bas, but it's spelled B-A-S. And anyway, this one is also by Purl Soho. This one is knit up in a DK weight, also a 6mm, in a US 6 with 4mm needles. This one has quite a bit more cable detailing. Like I said, if you want to try out some serious cables and you don't want to buy a pattern because of the learning curve, this pattern is free. But this pattern has multiple cables to work on, so you would not only learn how to do one cable, but like I said, multiple cables. And I just think that this would be such a cute pattern to knit up if I were interested in doing a scarf. So the next one that looks actually like a little bit similar in style is the turtle dove shawl. This one looks like it can be knit a little bit smaller, but the detailing is gorgeous. Again, there are multiple cables. It is knit up in a DK weight yarn with US 4 or 3.5mm needles. And this is so cute. It says turtle doves are a symbol of friendship and love. Keep one and give the other to a very special person. As long as each of you has your turtle dove, you will be friends forever. Home Alone 2. That's so cute that that's what she named it after. And I think I didn't mention the price, but it is $5 US and 42 cents. So the next and final scarf pattern that I have for you guys is the Minu scarf by Luisa Reakopf. I think that's German. Yep, it's also available in German if you speak German. But this pattern is $5.53. It is knit up in a sport weight yarn on US 6 or 4mm needles. Very simple and delicate cable design. It's not like a straight edge scarf. It definitely like angles into like a little triangle, which I really like about this pattern as well. It looks like she has a version where you can make it a scarf and a head wrap kind of thing. I think it would also be super nice to make and gift. It's really cute, especially the headband version. It might be super easy to do. So the next category we're going to get into are mittens. And the first mittens that I have are the Severn Side Mitts by Annabelle Williams. So this is a free pattern and there's not so much to say about them except they look super cute and cozy. It is knit up in a DK weight yarn with US 2.5 or 3mm needles. It doesn't take a lot of yardage to make them and they look super duper cozy. The next mittens I have are the Tilda mittens by Ines Song. These actually look really similar to the mittens that I knit up that I'm gonna show you guys in a moment, but they are knit up in a bulky weight yarn as opposed to my DK weight yarn, and they use US 6 and US 8 needles or 4mm and 5mm needles. It's just a simple cable design with two cables, like small cables on the sides and then one larger cable in the middle. I absolutely love that design. I knit up the Hurst Flettevotte. I said I don't speak Norwegian, but I feel like that sounds pretty good. which is a pattern by Strikkesofa, and I knit these up last weekend. Literally took me 2.5 days to knit them because of the knit-a-thon. If you didn't check out my knit-a-thon video, I'm gonna link it. It was so much fun to just knit with a bunch of other people all around the world who are knitting, a lot of people from Denmark, and for 24 hours I watched a whole bunch of live streams and premiere videos and got to interact with other people who were knitting, and it was a blast. But I had so much time to knit these up and I absolutely am obsessed with them. I actually wore them yesterday for the first time. I might be wearing them today when I go on a walk with my little doggos because it is cold and snowing outside. But this pattern is knit up in a DK weight. I used one strand of Fingering by Madeline Tosh in the color Plastic Flamingo and one strand of Surrey lace weight yarn, which was Cumulus by Fiber Spates in the color Coral. And that's how I ended up with this color combination. I'm obsessed with these guys. This pattern did cost $4.77. It was actually so much fun to knit up, and the pattern really keeps you engaged, and it's really, you start to memorize it after a while. This was actually my first ever cable knit, and this is why I believe if you're a beginner knitter like me, you can absolutely knit something cabled. I did make some mistakes. You can see this is how the cable pattern is supposed to look, and this is how, I must have like missed a couple rows. On this side it came out perfect. I think when I knit this way and then just forgot to do this last cable. But I still love them as my first cable knit. And okay, that's all I have to say about these. Can you tell I just love them? So next I have the Seed Box Mittens by Ann Hansen. They're so cute. They look a lot different from the previous patterns where they have the 2 small cables and a large cable in the center. It just looks like it's just one large cable, and it takes all of the focus of the cable, which I love. And I also just love the sample pictures. Like this model in there, she's so stinking cute. And yeah, I think these would be really nice to knit up. It is a $7 pattern, so it's a little bit on the pricier side. It's knit up in a worsted weight yarn with needle size US 3 and US 4, or 3.25 and 3.5 millimeter needles. So the next mittens I have for you are the Mondial mittens. In my French brain it's Mondial, maybe it's Mondial, I don't know. But it's by Claire Borchardt, and it is knit up in a sport weight yarn and US 3, which are 3.25 millimeter needles. And these ones are also so cute. They look so simple and just like delicate and just traditional kind of mittens. And I think you would have a lot of fun knitting them up. They are a more like loose cable, which again, I love. So yeah, I love them in gray. Originally, I wanted to do these in gray. So I am looking for another cable like pattern to do in gray. So this might have to be it because it's super, super cute. So it is $6 for this pattern. And then we're gonna go right ahead into the last pair of mittens because I'm running out of things to say about all the mittens. But these are the Pashira mittens by Twin Knits. They just released of January of last year, so it's a newer pattern. Knit up in DK weight yarn and 3 millimeter needles. It is a paid pattern, so they're a little bit over $4 for the pattern, but honestly, they're just super cute mittens. I love them knit up in white. I could never, but they're so stinking cute. Okay, let's get right into the hats. Like I mentioned, the Tilda mittens were a free pattern, and I have the Tilda hat, which is basically a matching set. So look, all the free patterns, bang for your buck. You get free mittens and free hat. We love it. So it's also knit up in a bulky weight yarn with US 6 and US 8 or 4 and 5 millimeter needles. It only takes 140 meters. Like, are you kidding me? Just go ahead and stash bust right now. Don't even buy any new yarn for it. It has a cute little pom-pom that you can put on the top, and it's just overall a really lovely cable knit. It has just like the slouchy kind of fit, like it doesn't fold up with a brim or anything like that. And honestly, it's so cute. If I could wear hats over this giant hair, I would probably knit it up. The next one I have is for the men out there. Like if you're looking for a pattern to knit up for a man in your life, then this one is the Jason's Cashmere hat. It is a free pattern, which we love. And yeah, just a simple cable knit hat. It does have the brim that folds up with a really nice ribbing. It's knit up in Aran weight yarn with 4 and 5 millimeter needles and just 183 meters. So again, like a one skein wonder. We love that. I feel like I didn't put enough men's patterns in here because I know we're gift knitting. Maybe you are. I'm not gift knitting. I also frogged all of my gift knits in my last video. I am now just knitting for me and knitting for people whenever I feel like it. We're not doing the Christmas bulk gift knitting ever again. So the next free pattern that I have is the Binks hat by Haley Quinn. It is knit up in DK weight yarn and 4 and 4.5 millimeter needles. Again, it's like the slouchy fit. I think the yellow one is so stinking cute, and also I think she knit it in green. Yes, there is a sample photo in green. It gives so moody, kind of like twilighty vibes. I don't know, I love it. I think it would be so cute to knit up and wear. I can't say much about hats because like I said, I can't really wear them. I have one hat, like one beanie, but it has like a satin lining just to protect my curls. So yeah, I don't and can't knit up any hats. Next we have the October Road hat by Megan Bobbin, or Babin. It is knit up in worsted weight yarn. To me, this looks like a hat that you would buy in a store. I think it's so lovely, and it looks like you can wear it either kind of slouchy or with the brim folded up, and it is $8 US. Next, I have the Weekend hat by Hiromi Nagasawa, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. I love the slouch that she has on it, and again, it's a looser cable, so for me, I'm like screaming I would absolutely make this pattern. And I love the bright orange color too. Like, I think during the winter and now just taking a look outside my window, wearing bright colors just to like give a little bit of joy in this like drab, dreary grayness outside would just be so fun and cute. And I've been dying to knit up a Japanese pattern and a Korean pattern just to see how they differ from patterns that I'm used to. And this pattern is about $3.37, knit up in DK weight with 4 and 3.5 millimeter needles. And I am actually obsessed with this hat pattern. And if I can learn how to sew and sew my own satin linings onto hats, you might be seeing me in a hat next year. I feel like I have a ton of hats on this list, but I have next the Reigate hat by Claire Borchardt again. This one is knit up in a DK weight yarn and 3.25 and 3.75 millimeter needles. I actually love this hat, I love how many cables there are and how small they are, and that they just go around the entire hat. This pattern is $5 US, and honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's super, super cute, and I love the color of the sample knit as well. Whew, I think we made it to the final hat pattern. I have the Amelie beanie by Sari Nordlund. I guess I just love all colors when they're knit up, and when they're knit up in the sample colors, they're probably knit up in those colors for a reason, because it accentuates the beauty of the pattern. And this kind of seafoam green color just looks perfect on this hat. Yeah, it's just like a looser cable with like some ribbing in between the cables, and it's so cute. I don't think Sari Nordlund can do any wrong, and this one is knit up in a DK weight with 3 millimeter needles. It takes about 225 meters of yarn, and it's about $5.42. So I'm done with the hats, but I do, however, have some balaclavas because I have been dying to knit a balaclava. They're actually more hood. I think the balaclava covers your face, except for your eyes, and the hoods just kind of go around. I will do a hood even if I don't do a hat. So I am thinking about knitting up one of these. I just have the two, but the first one is balaclava number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is knit up in some Aran weight yarn and with 4.5 millimeter needles. I feel like that would work up pretty quickly. I love the cabling on it. It looks more like kind of twisted, kind of braided. It's really gorgeous, and I don't have a lot to say about it. It's 40 krona, which I didn't calculate how much that is. I'm sorry. Okay, but then this balaclava, I really want to knit it up. It's the Downtown Balaclava by Nadia Ingeborg, and it's knit up in DK also with US 4 and US 6 or 3.5 millimeter and 4 millimeter needles. Only 175 meters to knit this up. Are you joking me? I might go knit this right now. This one is knit up with DK and a lace held together, which I definitely probably have something I could use in my stash to knit this up. And I would totally knit it with something really fuzzy like mohair or suri. But yeah, it's about $5.19. And I guess that's all I have to say about it. I really want to knit a hood. I have been searching hood patterns for a while, and I just have too many sweaters on my needles to even think about casting on something else. So the next category I have is socks. And if I thought I had a lot of hat patterns, I'm probably about to be really overwhelmed with these sock patterns. But the first thing before I even get into the socks are a free leg warmers pattern. It is the Heidi Leg Warmers by Irene Lynn. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to say except for these look like they're about to keep your legs super warm. I love a good leg warmer, or at least a good long sock that sticks out of my boots. And this definitely would do that. If you have like big enough boots that you could tuck these into, your legs are not gonna be cold. Probably the rest of your body not even gonna be cold with these leg warmers on. So it's knit up in an Aran weight yarn and 4.5 and 3.5 millimeter needles, probably the ribbing and the cute cable design. It's super cute. The next socks that I have are the Hella socks. It's definitely not how you pronounce it. There's an umlaut over the A, but I don't know how to pronounce that in either Finnish or Swedish. But it's by Leah Petaja, and it's knit up in an Aran weight yarn with US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needles. And honestly, they just look like the type of socks that you would just throw on when you're at home, maybe put on in some boots just to keep your legs super warm because they're super high and they look really cozy. They're gonna be a little bit thick too. And yeah, I love everything about those. So the next pattern that I have is also a free pattern. They are the Dulce cable socks, or Dolce cable socks by Novita, and they are knit up in DK weight with 3 and 3.5 millimeter needles. And again, same thing as the last pattern, they just look like a nice cute little cable sock that you would wear around the house, or they would be a little bit on the thicker side so you could wear them inside your boots. They're definitely decorative and not like for everyday outdoor use, I would say. But you could probably say that about all of these socks since they are cabled, like, and hand knit. Like, you're not just gonna wanna be out running around in these socks. So the next and final free pattern that I have are the Thorsminde by Rachel Sogard. They are knit up in 2.5 millimeter needles with light fingering weight yarn. They look so delicate. These would be so cute, just like, and if you made them like a lot higher and then put them with like some docks. I'm like a sucker for like some cute lace, cable-y looking socks and some Doc Martens. Like, just put the cute with the edgy in there, you know? Or, you know, let's say you're going over to people's houses for Christmas parties and you gotta take off your shoes, because you should take off your shoes when you enter other people's homes, and they should take their shoes off when they enter your home. But anyway, you take off your shoes, you take off your boots, and it's been snowing, you know, like, you don't want to track that stuff in the house. And you just whip out these cute cable socks that you have, and people are like, oh my God, your socks are so cute, and you knit them, you know? That's basically all the socks in this video. So the next socks I'm absolutely in love with, and it's, again, a Japanese pattern, which I'm dying to knit up. They are $4.99, and the pattern is Kohaku by Yuka. It is knit up in a fingering weight yarn, but it says that all 3 yarns are used in this pattern, which is like a bamboo silk, merino fingering, and the Woodland Garden Everyday sock yarn. So I don't know if they use 3 lace, I don't know. But it's knit up in fingering weight of your choice. And they use 2 millimeter needles, which are tiny, and I don't know if I want to knit something that small, but these are so cute with like just like plain kind of stockinette around the toe, and then like this diagonal triangular thing that leads into the cable. So cute and so unique. I absolutely love that pattern. Then I also have the Pumpkins and Spice socks by This Handmade Life. Oh my gosh, my coffee's getting cold. Scratch that, my coffee is cold. It's fine. I've just been talking for 46 minutes. So this pattern is absolutely so cute with just like small detailing on the front. It says that they were designed with the idea of coziness and staying at home with an autumn evening by the fire. Like, come on, so cute. Cabin socks. That's basically what these are. And they are knit up in fingering weight yarn with 2.5 millimeter needles. It is a paid pattern, $3.50. I love the orange that it's knit in. It looks like you could make them, I think you can make any sock long or short, you know, depending on how you want them to fit, but they do have pictures of both. Oh, I'm actually on my last pair of socks already. That was actually a lot quicker than the hats for some reason. But this pattern is $6, but you get color work and you get cable in this pattern. Like I said, I want my winter to be full of cable work and color work. just like, you know, to advance my skills as a knitter. And these ones are the Seward socks by Caitlin Hunter. I love them. They're so festive, especially the sample pictures, like so festive. And one of them, the red sock with like the gray, you could make the heel green or, you know, make the toe green or both or whatever, and they'll just be so festive. Like I am actually obsessed with these, and I think they would work up so quick. Like imagine you're just doing some color work and then the color work ends, and you know, like that's when it gets kind of boring and you're just knitting stockinette, but you're not, you're knitting cables. Like I think these would just go so quick and you would just have so much fun. They're knit up in a fingering weight yarn, 2.5 and 2.75 millimeter needles. And I really actually want to knit these. I think they're so cute. Again, just imagine the scenario. You're like at a family member's house for Christmas and you take off your shoes and you have these festive, cute socks and everybody's fawning over them. And you're like, yeah, I made them. I just have this dream at all times. I'm usually daydreaming about this kind of stuff. So the next and final category are gonna be sweaters and cardigans. And I actually have a dilemma for you guys. I have two sweaters that I'm trying to choose between, and I need you guys to make up my mind of which one I should knit, okay? So don't forget to leave that in the comments. Like, please send your vote, like what one should I knit? But before I get to those patterns, I'm gonna talk about the free patterns. So the first one is the Handsome Crisp Pullover by Karen Schaefer. And I actually mentioned this pattern in my 30 free fall knitting patterns video, but it's a free all over cable work sweaters. So maybe this is your first cable work, maybe it's your first sweater, and maybe it's your first all over cable work sweater, and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a pattern. I think this one is so cute. I tried to convince my boyfriend to like it so that I could knit this for him, but he's not a fan. And I think it could totally be unisex. It is knit up in worsted weight yarn with 3.75 and 4 millimeter needles, and yeah, it's a lovely pattern. The next one is also a free pattern called the Honeycomb Erin by Gail Bunn. Also just a beautiful cable work sweater. If you didn't like the first pattern I showed you with all the cable work all over, this one is a little bit more subtle in its cable work, still a little bit more on like the chunky side, but it has a nice cable detailing on the sleeve, has the same cable detailing right down the side, and then like a honeycomb stitch in the front. It's gorgeous. It's knit up in 4 millimeter and 5 millimeter needles, and I think this one would be so, I love the gray. I love the gray, and I love gray and cable knitting, and I really want to do a gray cable work sweater. I don't know if we're gonna get there because, like I said, I have plans for my first cable sweater, and so I'm going to break it down for you now. Which sweater am I knitting? So the first contender is the Brady Loop sweater by Other Loops. So many people are knitting this right now, and like I don't know if there's a cowl going on or if it's just this one girl I follow on TikTok. I can't remember her name, but I'm gonna link her down below. She has been inspiring me to knit the Brady Loop. She has a beautiful red one, and she's working on another like brownish one right now. And I have been dreaming about knitting this sweater. What's really nice about it is that there's not a lot of cabling. It's just on the sleeve, and then it has like a ribbed pattern for the rest of the body, and I absolutely love it. I love it. So my thing with this one is I love it in some samples that I've seen, and then in other ones I'm like, I'm not sure, because it does look a little cropped. I mean, I can make it as long as I want, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely this one or the next one I'm gonna talk to you guys about. But this one is knit up in a DK weight yarn, 4 millimeter needles, 3.5 millimeters for the ribbing. It looks so delicate. It looks kind of luxurious, and I really love that about it. And I love the like loose cabling. And the next sweater pattern, you guys, is the Baji Basi Baki, I don't know how it would be pronounced in Korean, sweater by Monmi Choi, okay? And I'm just gonna give you all the specs of it first. It's knit in bulky weight yarn on 6 millimeter and 5.5 millimeter needles. So definitely like a quicker knit, a little bit, it's gonna work up a little bit faster. Also, I didn't mention the Brady Loop sweater pattern is $8.89, and this pattern is $7.50. So the picture that caught my attention with this pattern was on Instagram, and it's like knit up in this dark forest emerald kind of green, and I was like, I need that sweater. Not to mention it was knit longer than some other samples I've seen, and the green is like my favorite, and I'm like dying to have a sweater in that color. And this is the one I'm leaning towards making versus the Brady loop sweater, but this green one, I have to have it. The only thing is like I can't find the same yarn like near me. I've done a little bit of research, but I can't find it exactly. And the only thing holding me back is I really want it to be in the exact same color, and I want it to be in the exact same yarn. And the other thing that's holding me back is this detailing. I'm gonna show it to you on this yellow sample that I saw, because this is the other one that made me go, whoa, I love this sweater. The only thing I'm hesitant about is this kind of, I think it looked like they're just purl stitches in the center that's kind of breaking the cable and the rest, like the stockinette. It's like cable, stockinette, cable kind of thing. And I was like, it looks kind of weird being broken up like that. And I wasn't sure that I liked it, but I realized after looking at a few samples is that it's okay when it's like directly in the middle of the sweater. But if you like have it too far up or too far down, it looks kind of awkward. So I would definitely have to know how long I want the sweater to be, and then make sure that at the exact halfway point, that's where I put that little break. I love the yellow sample. Me and yellow, not friends. We don't get along. But yeah, so I need you guys to vote. Please tell me which one to make. I really want to make both. I probably eventually will have both, but tell me which one to make, and I will literally take your guys' comments into consideration and choose the one that I feel like I got the most comments for, even if I am leaning one way or the other. Anyway, is this a video about me asking you guys to choose my sweater patterns, or me giving you guys cable patterns? Let's just get back into it. So the next cable pattern I have is the Arctic Light Sweater by Veronica Lindberg, also known as Kutava Kika. And I have been dying to knit one of her patterns also. I know everyone just did the Salty Days cowl by her, and that pattern looks so gorgeous. But this one with the all over cabling and this little raglan detailing, like, it's gorgeous. I think she just dropped a new book as well with a lot of, all of her patterns are amazing. If you have been knitting for any amount of time, I'm sure you've heard of Kutava Kika by now. This one is knit up in DK weight yarn with 3mm and 5mm needles, and it is a $7.63 pattern. It has quite a few different cables in there, so a lot of different things to learn. I think it will keep your mind engaged. Love this pattern. So the next one is by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it is the sweater number 15. Again, like Nordland, like Kutava Kika, I'm sure you've heard of My Favorite Things Knitwear. I love this sweater because I love the flat cable detailing. It is knit up in a sport weight yarn with 4.5 and 4mm needles, and it is 50 krona. I didn't do the conversion, I'm sorry, and usually Ravelry has it, but they don't on this pattern. But I absolutely love this pattern. I feel like I'm gonna spitfire the rest of them because I'm just repeating the same things over and over again. So the next one is the Alana sweater by Masha Ziablikova. Yes, it's also in Russian. I thought as much. I loved this pattern basically for the V-neck of it. I was never really a V-neck person, but I've just knit I've got 2 V-neck sweaters on my needles, which is funny because I was trying to pick a buddy knit with my girl Kayla, and I was like, I can't do another V-neck sweater right now. But I think that's what makes this one extra special and delicate, because the rest of the sweaters so far have been crew neck, and the cabling on this is so small and delicate, and it just looks like it would be so soft and just absolutely beautiful. So it is €8 or $8.84. It's knit up in sport weight yarn with 3.5mm needles. You guys already know I'm gonna love this one. It is the Taipei sweater by Mochi Knits. It is knit up in bulky yarn, which like doesn't even really look like it. It's probably one of those like soft bulk yarns, but it's knit up in 6mm, 5mm, and 4.5mm needles. And I love that it looks like the cables are barely there. That's what I love in a cable, in case you can't tell. I don't want my cables to like stick out so much, but I know that some people do, which is why I've included both types of cables in my patterns. But I just love the kind of softer look. And that's definitely what this one is giving. And I love it in this light gray color. Light gray and me, not really friends. Like even in this hoodie right now, it's medium gray and like kind of, but I gotta do the darker. But I think that the color that it's knit up in is beautiful, and it would look also beautiful in like a red, or like I'm thinking like a plum, kind of eggplanty color. Yeah, something jewel toned, because that's the colors that I wear. Next, we have the twist loop sweater by Other Loops. So the Brady loop sweater is also by this designer. And what I absolutely love about this is the just one delicate cable design and then like kind of the all over body ribbing. And I kind of want to make this for my mom. This looks like something she would wear. It looks so luxurious. It looks so soft. It looks elegant. I love everything about this, and I really kind of like, I was making this list up today and I was like, wow, I really want to knit this for my mom, and I might just have to do it. It's so beautiful. It is knit up in fingering weight yarn with 4 and 4.5mm needles. It is about an $8.89 pattern, and I think that's it for this pattern. I can't stop looking at it and I can't stop picturing my mom in it. So the next one is the My Dear sweater by Yoonji Jang. So it's a Korean pattern, and this one does have some chunky knits in it, but they don't look chunky, which is what I love about this pattern. I seriously would actually knit this up for me, which like I said, I don't really do the chunky knit, but this one to me looks kind of chunky, but like still flat. And I really love the look of this one. I would make it definitely a little bit longer and more oversized. It is $9 and it says that My Dear sweater is designed for my dear husband. So it is definitely a unisex pattern. Like you could knit it up for a man in your life, and then you could steal it. That's what I would do, and just wear it whenever you want. I always steal my boyfriend's clothes. So just kind of rolling off of that one, I have the Moby Sweater Man by Petite Knit, and it's knit up in a DK weight yarn, 4mm, 3.5mm, and 3mm needles. It is about $7.41 for the pattern, and just an overall nice cable pattern for a man in your life. And that's gonna be it for the sweaters. And now I have some cardigans, and since we just did a Petite Knit pattern, we're gonna go into the next one. I have personally not knit anything by Petite Knit, but I really do want to knit something by Petite Knit. I'm thinking I should make a little bingo card for myself, or just like some goals for my 2025 knitting. And knitting Sari Nordland, knitting Kutava Kika, and knitting Petite Knit all have to be on that list. But this is the Dagmar jacket. Of course, I had to put this one in there. Everyone is raving about it. It just came out a couple months ago. It is $7.41 as well, and it is just a really beautiful all over cable jacket. I actually personally don't think I would like the jacket for myself, but other people have been knitting it up and loving it, and that's absolutely gorgeous. I myself would lean more towards my next pattern, which is the Baguette jacket by Sumin Kim. I think it just looks a little bit lighter, a little more delicate, a little more feminine, if you will. And I first saw this pattern on Angela's Creative Corner. On her channel, she did like some, like a pattern roundup of some cable cardigans and sweaters that she wanted to knit up. And I saw this one and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I might need to make this. I don't actually wear a lot of cardigans or a lot of open kind of things. I'm more of like a pullover sweater kind of girl. But this one is knit up in bulky weight with 4, 4.5, and 3.75mm needles. and it is available for $9.40. I really love the light cream version of this, and like even though I couldn't wear it, I definitely have to do dark, which is really hard for me because I want to do cables so bad, but cables don't look good in the colors that I like to wear that much. Like you really want to do like a lighter kind of color, and I wear everything dark. Next, I have the Smoky Cardigan by Man Choi, and it's knit up in a DK weight with 4 and 4.5 millimeter needles. It's $7.50. And I actually really love the look of this. It's a little bit busier for what I would choose, but like I said, like it's not just about my personal taste. Like if you like it, I love it. I do love the fit of this, like being a little bit more oversized, and I love like the cable detailing also on the sleeves. So it is also really, really cute. I love the way that it's styled in the sample pictures with like the baseball cap and the skirt. Like it's just like feminine meets masculine, and I love that when it comes to style. Whew, we are almost to the finish line. We have the August Cardigan by Joanna Garish, and this one is knit up in DK weight, 4.5 and 3.5 millimeter needles, and it's $7.73 for the pattern. I think this one is super cute if you love a cropped cardigan. Again, looks like the cables are kind of like barely there. They're just like so light and loose. I love the way that it is styled with the high-rise jeans. You can just tuck it in. It looks so kind of like laid back, but still like a whole outfit kind of pulled together. I absolutely love this pattern. And the last pattern that I have is the Crocodile Line by Anna Joanna. And unfortunately, you cannot download it from Ravelry, and you can't download it from a website. You have to purchase a book. But the reason I put it in here is because for me, I know when I get obsessed with something, I will do whatever I can to have it. And so if you're out there and you're like, I really have to have this and make it and put it on my body, then, you know, this is for you. It's only published in Strands of Joy Volume 2. And I love this pattern so much. I'm not like obsessed with it to the point where I'm gonna buy the book and make it, but I love the color of it. I love the color work detailing on the stripes, and I love the cable work detailing on the opposite stripes. And I think it is so gorgeous in this like olive green color, like everything about it just coming together. It looks so, so good. And yeah, I love everything about it. I feel like I've said that about every pattern. I love all the patterns. I chose all the patterns that I did because some of them I would absolutely knit myself, or most of them I would knit myself, and I wouldn't pick a pattern if I didn't like it personally. And then other patterns, I like them even if they're not for me, and I know you guys would like them as well. So that is it for this video. I feel like I just talked for so long, and I have a lot of really fun editing to do today. I hope that you guys are staying warm wherever it is that you are, and I look forward to seeing you guys in another video.